Hello guys, welcome to another video. Today is my review on Evil Dead Burn. Let's get right into it. So, with this movie, it's about a wife that's has so much different feelings at the moment after her husband just died. She's at his funeral with his family, and they're mourning, or they're sad about his death. And with that, they go to their grandparents' house. And with going back to the grandparents' house, let's just say it gets more crazy and more terrible for this family, even right after their death of their kid and / her husband. And with that, they have to figure out how to survive from these deadites, or if not, they're gonna die. And with that, without spoiling too much of the movie, that's what I'm gonna give you. And yeah, let's just get right into the stuff that I like about the movie or not, right? Story-wise, I think this story was perfect. Like, if you're a Evil Dead fan, you're gonna like it. Like, if you're a hard, dead-on Evil Dead fan, you're gonna love this movie. Because I know I did as an Evil Dead fan. And I will say one crucial part, I said don't go in the movie theaters and expect this, because I expected this because of what I was hearing online is, hey, this movie connects all the Evil Dead movies together. It does not, as a story-wise. It gives you key reference, and then maybe a really one major movie connection is Evil Dead Rise that is definitely heavy on connection with only one in-credit scene, right? Besides that, that's the only thing is really connecting the Evil Dead movies is Evil Dead Rise and Burn. They're really connected by a long shot. Besides that, the rest is just reference. I guess there's some reference to, like the grandfather that we don't know. He's deceased in this movie. The grandma's alive with some dementia. She's pretty funny in this movie. But besides with the grandpa, I guess his name matches a character's name from Army of Darkness. A key reference, it could be a reference or something to the stories that's like, oh, this family tree has been connected to this family for a long time, to all the way from Army of Darkness. That could be it. If not, it's just a reference. Same thing with there's like a little small reference to the 2013 movie. It's a news clipping saying 4 people died in a burning cabin. Don't know what that is. It's 2013's Evil Dead right there. So there is definitely reference to other movies, but does it connect to the movies? Not really. It doesn't connect by character or anything with story. It's just straight. It's just a straight line with their new take on this story, a new take of a movie for this universe, and that's all it is. Yeah, it has one major connection to one movie. It's Evil Dead Rise, but besides that, in reality, does not connect. The story in this movie does not connect all Evil Dead movies. Don't expect that. But even with that, my little bit sad thing, I was like, I walked out of the movie theater saying, damn, I wish it was connecting. I thought it was going to connect all the movies, man. Because when people were talking about it, it made it sound like that. But even with that, the story was amazing. With the story, it made total sense why the Deadites are there and how they're there. And even with the start of the movie, it goes full circle with Evil Dead Rise. This is why I say another thing is it really is this full circle with Evil Dead Rise, just because they finally fixed up the problem with Evil Dead Rise is what's the start of the movie, because with the start of the movie, it really doesn't connect to the main characters of those movies. It was just like, hey, here's this cool scene, here's this cool intro of a movie, you're gonna love it. And then at the end of it, and I think at the end of the movie, it does connect to it by some way. Not fully for sure, guys. Don't get me wrong, okay? But I haven't watched Evil Dead Rise for a little while. But besides that, there's nothing heavy connection to it, right? Except with Evil Dead Burn, they finally give us the answer of the start of the what's the reason of the start of the movie is, and they finish it off with Evil Dead Burn. Definitely a great way to start Evil Dead Burn too. Evil Dead Burn is, again, very much great how they start the movie, right? They practically threw you in the fire, man, and man, it burned me up watching those throughout the whole movie, if I have to say myself. But yeah, no, like the start of the movie was amazing. The story of it made sense. Straight out, the story, it doesn't go off balance, because we all know movies, man, nowadays. A lot of times the story is like iffy. You know what I mean? Like you get to the movie, it's like, oh, this is such a good part, and then it keeps on going and it gets repetitive and boring. You're like, oh man, just get to the good parts. In this movie, it's nothing like that. You can enjoy it, and there's no boring parts with the story or the kills, the gore, the characters, whatever. It does not stop. Your interest with the movie is there. There's no sideline of a character. There's no sideline of the stories, and if there is, it makes sense why they're gonna sideline. Like, you think they're just gonna give you the whole story of the Book of Nebracon and the knife, or the Wise Man? Because there's a group in this movie called the Wise Man that has been fighting Deadites for years, by the looks of it. Like, do you think they're really gonna give you more story detail on that? No, they're gonna save that for more future Evil Dead movies. Understandable, right? Look at FNAF. It's been a decade, and we still haven't got any answers of anything. You know what I mean? So like with Evil Dead, it makes sense, right? But they did great with the story with all the characters, and like let's get right into the characters. Obviously, they did good with the characters in this one. With the story, the characters, they all had a scene. They all had a part of this movie by some way where when they die or something happens or anything, right, you feel connected and you feel like, yeah, they earned to die. Wow, that's a messed up way to die. Oh, that's sad to see. That type of thing. It's not, oh, that's a cool kill scene. It's more like you have a feeling, a personality to it where you can hate it or love it, Unlike, other movies, like the Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street. Let's get this straight. I love those franchises. Don't get me wrong. Like, I have collections of those, right? And same thing with the Saw franchise. I have very much love for a lot of the major franchises. But the main problem is they don't give us character development that much. And if they do, it's just for one or two characters, and then like the rest of like 5 or 6 characters, they don't get any story details. So when they get killed or chopped up in pieces, you're just like, that's a cool kill scene. You're not going to remember their name. You're not going to remember what they look like. You're just going to be like, what a cool kill scene, right? And it's a good one. It's not bad. Like, if you're in a horror movie and you just want to see kills, that's a movie for you. But I'm the type of guy that wants to love the kill scene and know the character and enjoy the character or hate the character, So at the end of it, when they do die, it's a memorable kill, but also the memorable character where you might not know their names, but you know who they were and what they were, And in this movie, all the characters have their own kind of personality. They have their own person. They're their own thing, and that's a good thing because that makes it where you can either hate them or like them. Like, the grandma in this movie, hilarious, man. Like, she was a goofball in this movie. She was the comedy parts of this movie. You're gonna love the funny parts with her. The father's very strict. The father's very, like, self-centered. It's like he's a practically asshole, right? The mother, she's going crazy. She's depressed, Joseph, I remember his name. That's the only character I remember because my name is Joseph. Every character in this movie has something that you would know about them. Either what their favorite thing is or whose they are. And that's a good thing then. That makes the movie great. To me, at least, right? So with that, all the characters did amazing. Like, you're going to enjoy the characters and you're going to enjoy the story. Now, I think this is just me personally. I know everyone enjoys this movie, right? Everyone loves it. I love it because I walked out of the movie theater saying, yeah, this is definitely a better movie than Evil Dead Rise, right? I don't think there's some parts that I do believe Evil Dead Rise beats Evil Dead Burns by a little bit, but there's parts that I say Evil Dead Burns beat Evil Dead Rise, you know what I mean? And I would say they're both great. This movie is amazing. That's all I can say. But even though it's amazing, I have one problem with it. It's the end credits and the ending of the movie. And with the ending of the movie, it really doesn't affect the rating of the movie like reality does not, because it's not so much of a major thing. It's just me personally, I feel like it feels like the same ending that we have gotten since 2013's of Evil Dead. There's nothing really new about it. It's a final girl that went through crazy stuff. It could be all three Survivor girls are very much different how they went through, but definitely Mia from 2013. But they all are final girls. They're all in pain, and they fight something that is like at their level, and this crazy fight scene. And then at the end of it, that's the end of the movie. They're all the same thing. They kind of ended off the same way as all these Evil Dead movies, or with 2013 Rise and Burn, right? They all feel the same, and different characters and different deadites and stuff, right? But even with that, it felt repetitive. And then with the end credits, I think it makes it a little bit like, okay, so what's their future of this franchise? Because the first end credit kind of gives you an answer of something happening in the movie. I'm not going to explain that one. That one, I can understand a little bit, a little bit. But then you go to the second end credit and you're like, what does this even mean? Like, what's the point of this kind of thing? And with that, that's not a good thing, I would say. And plus, with Evil Dead Rise coming out in it's not take place in 1970s, and these movies are taking place present time. How is it going to connect for that movie? Or is it not, and it's just for another future Evil Dead movie? Wait till see. But with that, it made me a little bit of my problem with it. But besides that, no, I think the character's good. The story was amazing. There was no boring part. You're gonna get grossed out. You're gonna be having some funny moments. You're gonna see some cool little reference to the Evil Dead movies. You're gonna see so much amazing stuff that it's definitely not a boring movie. The characters were amazing. Yeah, I think maybe the ending for me was the most problem with me. But besides that, it's an amazing movie. I think I definitely highly recommend it for Evil Dead fans, and like the Deadites. The Deadites were amazing in this movie. I think we got about like 3 Deadites in this movie, 4 Deadites in this movie, and they were all amazing. And I like how each of these Deadites are very much different in their own little way. I feel like there was a goofy one, there was a quiet one, there's a Deadite. It's like I didn't even know like that could even become a Deadite in this movie. It's a amazing freaking movie with the Deadites and the kill scenes. Oh my god, the kill scenes in here is gruesome, man. The gore was off the records, if I have to say myself. Is it Terrifier level? Not really, right? It's not Terrifier level, but it's a level of damn, that's messed up. Oh yeah, that's messed up kind of thing, and that's a good thing. Yeah, I think everyone will enjoy this movie of what it is and what it has become. Now, is this the best Evil Dead movie? Not really. I feel like some mixed emotions. If I would have to blind rank this franchise, right, I think it's difficult, guys, because if I have to say myself, it would be Evil Dead 2, Ash vs. Evil Dead, and then it would either have to be Rise in number 3 or Burns, because I want to say this again. Rise and Burns, same atmosphere of a movie, same camera quality, same kind of kills in this movie, except Burns a little bit more gory and more kills. It's always the same atmosphere. It's like a copy and print, and then you change a little bit of the story and the characters and everything. Still a good movie, right? But gives you the same vibe as Evil Dead Rise. So it's definitely a good movie. I think people will love this. I don't know if you're more a fan of Army of Darkness. I do believe that you might have a little problems with it, because I feel like Army of Darkness is like the only movie out of the whole franchise that is definitely not horror, definitely not scary, and definitely not killing and gory. It's more fantasy comedy to me, at least, and what a lot of people do say. But with this movie, I think it's definitely a great. I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10, 4 stars. I just think the end credits kind of throws me off, and with the ending a little bit, the ending's kind of iffy, to me at least. So I think it could have been better. But also, I'm not a writer or a director, so I can't even be complaining. You know what I mean? But besides that, very much an amazing movie. I definitely recommend it if you're an Evil Dead fan, and if not, go watch it. You could definitely watch this movie without watching any other Evil Dead movie, maybe except Evil Dead Rise. But honestly, if you really don't care for end credits, just watch one of the first end credits, and then you can leave the movie theaters. Just because obviously the second end credit connects heavily to Evil Dead Rise. So with that, watch Evil Dead Rise. If not, totally fine. Just go watch Evil Dead Burn, because really you do not need any kind of homework for this movie. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, hit the sub, hit the like, and yeah, thanks for watching. See you guys in the future. Peace.